2025 is just around the corner, and many people will be contemplating what their New Year's resolutions are going to be. And for some people, not all, that is going to be to try and lose weight. I know that's been one of my resolutions for the last 30 odd years, I would say. Um, you may have heard of GLP1s, and in the UK that would be Wegovy and Manjaro. They are a weight loss injection that is helping many people lose weight for the first time in a long time. And if that is something that you're considering, then stick around. I've got a couple of things to say and to share with you. First and foremost, I would say do your research. The biggest thing is do your own research. Make sure that you understand what is involved in these medications, how it could affect you, what the side effects are going to be. And I would say plan to have some side effects. Not everybody gets them. Some people get them quite severely, and some people have them intermittently. I've been on Mounjaro, which is prescribed in the UK for weight loss, for approximately 14 weeks now. I'm sort of midway through week 14, and I've consistently lost weight over those 14 weeks, and I'm approximately 32 pounds weight lost. I say approximately because I'm due a weigh in. So I'm kind of going on averages. We're just a week after Christmas, and I managed to lose, even over Christmas, a very small amount of weight, which I've never done in previous years. I would say that it was more that I'd gained a significant amount of weight over the Christmas period, but this year was different for me. So do your research, make sure you understand what it is that you're getting into. Obviously, there is a cost. Very few people are going to get this GLP-1 prescribed on the NHS at the moment. I believe it's only for diabetics, and they're just starting to introduce Manjaro, which is for weight loss, but that is expected in 2025, and the the wait lists are expected to be years long. So after you've done your research and you're thinking about that you're going to go for it, what you will get as part of a package from an online provider, they'll ask you to do a bit of a check-in about your weight, your health, your conditions, and based on that they will prescribe it for you or not. But you will receive a pen in the post like this. This is an injectable pen. This is my Manjaro 5 milligrams. What I would say to you is, if you are eligible and you do get issued with one of these pens, there can be a little bit of fear and trepidation about actually taking the injection itself. I think this is my fifth pen now. And what I can try and show you, and I don't think it's going to show up terribly clearly, you can just kind of see, it is the very, very smallest needle. You're getting just a little glimpse of it every now and again. There you go. It is almost a hair's width, I would say. It's really, I would say don't be afraid of the injection. If you're doing it in your stomach, which is how I do mine, you just grab a piece of fat and stick it in. That's it. I don't feel it. When I say I don't feel it, I don't feel it at all. Some people say they do feel it, or it feels cold because you do keep this in the refrigerator. But overall, you're not really going to feel it at all. So the other thing I would say is that after you have taken your first injection, don't be surprised if you wake up the next morning or that very same day with no hunger, no cravings. And the biggest thing I noticed was the food noise in my head completely disappeared. And when I say completely disappeared, that next day was like a revelation to me. I'd never had such a clear head where I wasn't thinking about food, what I was going to eat, how much I was going to eat, what time, how long is it to the next meal, can I have a cup of coffee in between? Just nothing. It was like silence in my head for the first time ever. So that's one thing that I noticed. And I also noticed that day that I had no desire to eat, no cravings for food, which was weird because even though I knew I needed to eat something, I didn't have a desire for anything in particular. What I would also caution is if you don't experience that, that's also normal. Not everybody is the same, and some people react differently to GLP-1s. So some people might not experience that a reduction in food noise, reduction in cravings, and reduction in hunger for a couple of pens, basically. Some people it can take until they're on a higher dose before they experience those. Sort of that food noise reduction or hunger reduction. Some people it takes literally within hours. So I'm what they call a hyper responder. So I'm only on a 5 milligram pen at the moment, and I plan to stay on that for a little while because my suppression of hunger and food noise is very, very strong on the 5 milligrams. Other people don't feel that until they're on like 12.5 milligram pen, for example, or 10 milligram pen. Everyone's different, and just because it's not working as much on a lower dose for you doesn't mean to say it's not going to work at all. But like I said, expect some side effects. If you find that first week that your hunger is so reduced that you're not eating very much at all, I would say just for the first week, maybe 2 weeks, don't worry about it too much. We've a lot of us have been overeating for so long. We can probably do without a couple of calories for a week or two. And I know that some medical fasts are very low calories. What I would say is try and get your protein up, and you can do that using various tools. You can take a protein shake. There's some available in the stores. This one's 35 milligrams. There is some puddings that you can have. This is 20 milligrams of protein, 20 grams of protein. And then there are sort of like a selection of protein bars that you can take, and they tend to vary between about 18 and 22 grams of protein per bar. You can also buy some protein powder to make yourself a protein shake. And that one has 18 grams, but again, you can get them, I think, up to like 26 grams per serving. So I would say try not to worry too much about the calories because your hunger does start to come back. It's quite shocking in the beginning because you've gone from overeating and eating way too many calories in a day to not eating hardly any. I think some days when I started, I maybe had 600 calories. And I know that sounds shocking. And I'm not recommending that by any stretch. But what I am saying is just be prepared for that your hunger might be so reduced that you don't want to eat at all. Like I said, get your protein in a different source, and your hunger does slowly start to come back once you become a little bit sort of accustomed to the medication. Uh, Relax, enjoy the feeling, enjoy not having that food noise, those cravings, that constant desire to eat, and be obsessed with food. And I'm using the word obsessed about myself. Maybe that's not you, but I certainly found that, I was preoccupied with food and all the delicious things that I could eat. Just enjoy that feeling, and then recognize like sometimes that you're missing the food even though you're not hungry and you're not having cravings and the food noise isn't there. Recognize that there might be some feelings around the fact that you're not eating and that you want to eat, or you want the flavor of something, or you're used to having something at a certain time and now you're not. So settle into that. Just take a couple of weeks just to hear what your brain's saying to you about the food and the stories that you tell yourself about meal times, snack times, in front of the TV times, etc. Okay. Do what you want food wise. Nobody's going to say to you that you must follow a particular plan. You can't eat this food, you can't eat that food. I would say, especially in those first few weeks, eat what you can when you have a little bit of hunger or what you have a taste for. Um, but try and use this time, this initial period where your hunger is reduced, your cravings are reduced, etc., to try and find a better way of eating, maybe to prioritize those healthy foods that you hadn't prioritized before. Find new ways of eating, find a different way of eating, whether that's sitting at the table or not sat on the couch watching TV. Use the time to experiment and find different things that are going to work for you. Please do remember that GLP1s are a weight loss tool, and they are really here to help us find a better way of doing things. They give us that break from the mental the mental side of food, all of the things that, with the bad habits that we've accustomed ourselves to and accrued along the way over many years. I know I've definitely got some of those, and I'm addressing them as they come up. So, but yeah, do what works for you, eat what works for you. You will see some people on social media eating KFC and they're still losing weight, or eating, pub food and things like that. You're allowed to eat what you want. And as long as it's working for you and you're losing weight, then that's fine. But I would say take this as the time to actually look at, better ways of doing it, if you see what I mean. But yeah, on the KFC thing, I did have some fried chicken one day, and as a hyper responder, I did not have a good digestive reaction to it. Let's put it that way. Um, you will notice that people have different speeds at which they're losing weight. Some people are losing really, really rapidly, like 4 pounds, 5 pounds a week. Very often they're guys. Sometimes women are losing, big lumps of weight, 5 pound one week, 2 pound another week. But very often you'll find that it's more the male population that lose those big chunks of weight. Other people are reporting they're only losing sort of half a pound, or they may go a week where they don't have any at all. Um, don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to you and how you did last week, because it does vary amongst people how much they lose. I've consistently lost every single week for my week 14. I started off and I lost a big chunk of weight, and then it kind of like settled around the 2 pound mark. So some weeks were 1.6, 1.8, some weeks were 2.2. So yeah, just be aware of that there are different rates that we all lose weight. But what they have found in recent studies is that both the rapid losers and the slow losers, by about the 6 month point, have reached a balance, and they're at about the same percentage of weight lost. So don't worry if you're not losing too quickly. It will sort of even out over time. And hopefully by the 6 month mark, if you're still feeling good, you're still on the medication, you're still eating right, that actually will be about the same as the person who's losing tons of weight in the beginning. So that should give you a little bit of hope. Be prepared to have like water on hand all the time. I know water is sort of like more popular these days. So people are always walking around with water bottles in their hand. When you're doing a GLP1, I would say that is absolutely imperative that you keep up your water. You need to keep your kidneys flushed. It does help with weight loss. It does help with satiety, and sort of helping, with stomach cramps or digestive issues. Some people do struggle with constipation, or conversely diarrhea. Being adequately hydrated is going to help all of those things, especially the constipation. You do not want to sort of run the risk of ruining your weight loss, feeling lousy for a week, when really all you needed to do was sort of keep up with the hydration. I would say I'm going for about 2 litres of water a day. I know that sounds quite excessive. I think that is kind of what is recommended, but I found that a real struggle in the beginning to try and keep up with that. But now it's more easy. I always have a water bottle on hand, and I'm sipping away at that, and I try and get that done by about sort of 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So I'm not going to bed just full of water. The other thing I would say is, sorry, I've just dropped my notes here. You don't have to tell everybody about it. Some people, they're shouting it from the rooftops. Other people are keeping it to themselves. Personally, for me, I have kept it to myself, just because I didn't want other people's opinions and lack of knowledge around this to influence me or take away, my happiness about it. I feel really, really good on this medication, and I've done really well to have lost that 32 pounds over the last sort of 13 and a half weeks. And I've heard other people talking about it and saying negative things, so I don't want that interrupting my flow, and they don't need to know. It's my business. Up to you, who you tell, what you tell. Again, if people are giving you their opinions, and you'll hear all kinds of extreme things, like it's made from snake venom. I saw somebody the other day. It's not actually, it's mimicking the Gila monster saliva, or a GLP that they found in a Gila monster's saliva, which stops them from being hungry. So it's not actually obviously made from that. It's a synthetic form of that, and it works. But yeah, so you'll hear all kinds of things, that it melts fat off. It doesn't melt fat off. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones I've heard. Yeah, that you'll be on it for life. That's a really common one, that you'll be on it for life. There are a lot of people that have done a GLP-1. They've lost their weight successfully, and then they have slowly transitioned down from the medication and are now just following a diet and exercise plan to keep the maintenance. Some people have chosen to stay on it forever. Very often that will be people that have like an additional condition like diabetes, maybe. I know there's some studies around PCOS that it really helps that condition. I'm not qualified to speak about that, so I'm not going to say any more about that. But there's a lot more things that they're looking at GLP-1s treating, including addictions to like alcohol, cigarettes, caffeine, um, other things. But yeah, because it's impacting on a certain part of the brain. So yeah, so do your research, and you'll be able to find all of these different studies out there. Obviously, there's good and bad in everything. It's up to you to sort of find that balance of what you want to share, what you want to research, how it applies to you. I wouldn't say go reading all of the medical research. Um, a lot of the time we won't understand it, but and definitely, definitely, definitely don't take medical advice from me. This is just me kind of giving you my experience so far. There are other people that are making, wild claims about GLP-1s and Monjaro. I would say take a balanced approach to everything. If it sounds too extreme, it might be. Although I've reported extremes of like highs in mood, and this year I felt better than I've ever felt. I do feel very balanced on Manjaro. So there are some claims that are true for me, but there are other people that don't feel very good on the medication. They feel in too much digestive distress, or nauseous, shaky, different things. So like all medications, including natural medications, have side effects, and they vary amongst people as to the severity and frequency. So just use your own judgment on what's going to work for you. The other thing I would say is use a reputable pharmacy. There are many online pharmacies that you will have to do certain tests for, not tests for, sorry, certain criteria that you'll need to fulfill. There are some very cheap ones out there, and there are some very expensive ones. I'm kind of halfway in the middle. The one that I've chosen, I'm halfway in the middle. Um, it's a reputable pharmacy. It's somewhere that I know. Um, I feel that I get my value for money from it. Um, and yeah, I know that it's reliable, it's consistent. I know it's pharmaceutical grade. It's not been doctored in any way or diluted or whatever. And I'm not saying I've heard evidence of that. I'm just saying be aware, just use a reputable company. Shop around, see what's going to work for you. Like said, some of the more expensive ones offer a slightly more bespoke package where you can get sort of like psychological advice from somebody around your food issues as well. That's not something I'm prepared to pay for. It's something that I'm well able to do myself. I know all of my psychological issues. My main issue is eating. So, but yeah, look after yourself. Make sure that this is something that you want to do. If you've got £10 to lose, £15 to lose, this is maybe not the right route for you. I would say this medication is designed for people, that do have like a significant amount of weight to lose. If you have got medical conditions, it can help with those as well. But again, check out the reputable pharmacies, let them know your conditions, um, your health history, any medications that you're taking already. That's to protect you. I would hate for anybody to want to lie to get the medication and then it has an interaction with something that you're on already. So, and just I'd say have fun with it in the sense that I'm really enjoying this journey. I've felt better than I have done in a long time. So this is working out really well for me. So if you are going into 2025 and this does look like it could be an option for you, I wish you the best of luck. I would say there's plenty of people out there that are posting their positives and negatives. Um, Go follow them, find out what they're talking about. There's the US users that have been doing it slightly longer than the UK. But yeah, there's plenty of people that are reporting their stories, their successes, some of their failures. Because we all can fall, we all can slip. But overall, the stories are quite overwhelmingly positive, I would say. But so yeah, I mean, if I have to say anything again, I would say do your research. We're all grown adults, and don't be looking to blame somebody else for a decision that you made yourself. You need to equip yourself with the information to be able to take this forward and have the most successful journey that you can. So, if you'd like to follow me, my name is Ginger. My channel is Ginger Goes GLP1. I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe if you could do that for me. Follow along as I continue my quest. My original plan was to lose £100. Well, I've lost 32 now, so we're at about £68. So, or somewhere along the way. But yeah, thanks very much for taking the time to watch this. I hope you have a very happy, healthy, wealthy, successful 2025, whatever you do decide. If GLPs aren't for you, then I wish you all the best of luck with whatever you do decide. But I appreciate you taking the time just to stay with me and watch this through to the end. Take care.